And we are live. I'm Ronnie James Harris of the Limitless Channel, and I'm joined by Jason Laufenberg of the Awake Souls YouTube channel, and it's Sunday, Labor Day weekend.
Live on the Limitless Channel again, brother.
Yeah, did I say live on the Limitless Channel?
I don't even so.
I didn't
probably
notice.
It'd be an easy one to forget, you know, because we get used to going live on a certain channel, and so we just switch as needed, everybody. So yeah, the second community guideline strike did come in for the that last hangout, the one where we did the live call-ins, where it was just so beautiful and spiritual, and we're talking about everything except for anything health related. And yeah, we still got the community guideline strike. So the Awake Souls channel is down for 2 weeks, just absolutely unusable. And so our strategy is we have to put everything on private, and we'll wait out the 3 months on the Awake Souls channel until the strikes have cleared and we have a clean slate and we can move back. So as this happens more and more, be prepared for our next channel that we'll have to go to if this happens while we're on Ronnie's channel. So you're just going to have to understand that we're just going to keep going. We'll find a place to go live. We're going to be getting all of our content put up someplace that we feel is accessible and it's safe there. So we're going to have to start sharing links to our content from something other than YouTube because of their extreme censorship here. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. But, you know, we're just going to overstand the whole situation. This is not our first drill. We're not rookies. We know exactly what's going on, and we know what we have to do as representatives of TEAMYAHAWASHI. You're not going to see us back down one bit. We're going to go even harder. So tonight, you know, it's a pretty laid-back night. You know, I kind of want to bang the desk, but I'm not going to bang the desk. I'm just going to chill out. We're going to go through this content together. This is about Brother Steve Fletcher, 222. Hopefully he's watching. He is on my friends list on Facebook. We'll be going through a couple of things on Facebook later just to show Steve what's up. Not in any other reason, but you know, when we come out here and we speak truth and we stand up and say that we're representatives for the word, or especially a TEAMYAHAWASHI member, we have a different set of standards on this team. We actually care about every word that comes out of our mouth, and we actually listen to every word that proceeds out of the Father's mouth. We don't follow our own feeble human understandings. We're not kabbalists. We're not heliocentrists. We go where the truth leads. The spirit of truth will never, ever take you in a bad direction. Sometimes we don't understand why we go through certain situations, but we end up understanding in the end. As long as we're able to follow the truth, we'll always be in a better position. And channels like Steve Fletcher 222 has done nothing but deteriorate over the times. When we first found his channel in 2017, he was someone that was doing whiteboards. He was flow charting out his ideas. He was showing people, well, this is what I believe and this is what I see in the scriptures. Now he just dogmatically comes out here and proclaims to be a prophet, right? A prophet. He's a prophet of the Creator, well, blaspheming everything that's true. Completely ass backwards. His whole worldview is completely spun. He thinks he's spinning in outer space, right? Even though the scriptures, we've told him, redundantly say the earth is fixed and immovable. These are the problems that we have. These are so-called top leader. People don't understand. If you're a person, especially if you're calling yourself a prophet, you better make sure every single word that you speak is pure truth, because if it's not, you got to pay for these things. You know, so many Christians go around pretending to be Christian. They don't realize the severity of the weight of that sentence. If you're going to be like Yahawashi, he didn't sin, right? He didn't lie to anyone, right? Steve is a constant person who creates false prophecy. He's got all of his doctrine backwards. He's on the wrong calendar. He's a kabbalist. He believes he lives in a Big Bang spinning ball Earth universe. He probably believes in dinosaurs. I could go on and on and on about how many things this guy... Jason says he gets all 6 of the fundamental truths wrong. All 6. For us, that is a huge problem. And then, on top of it all, just because he uses a card deck player like Gematria... Steve thinks that he's somehow a prophet because Gematria says 888 on his name. And we'll get into that after. I just want to show Steve a few things because I put it in the comment section and he's banned me on his channel because he's a coward, right? But anyways, Jason, let's throw it to you. What say you, brother?
Oh, Steve is a long-running opponent. We've called him out multiple times. He knows who we are. We know who he is. We found him through the Revelation 12 sign. We became a part of that coverage, and we've been end times watchers ever since. So we know the initial crew that was there when the Revelation 12 sign went down. Steve was one of the guys, and we liked him, right? But then as time progressed, he strayed heavily, where now all of a sudden he was talking crap about flat earthers. He was going anti-biblical, and he's taken every wrong path that you can. He toes the Vatican or kabbalist shill line to a T. So we've got other channels that were in the Revelation 12 sign. There was Adam Fink of Parable of the Vineyard. At least he gets I think he gets two of the 6 fundamental truths correct. So he's anti-heliocentrist, but then he's fake flat earther, and then he's also a true Hebrew calendar guy. So we're talking about the Hebrew calendar tonight. And this, as we've been talking about, people should be familiar with how the true Hebrew calendar is the 5th fundamental truth, and anti-Trinitarianism is the 6th. So there is a video that's in production that I've been talking about that's not finished, that this content tonight will be a part of a substantiation that's going to be in the video itself. So what we have to do tonight is firmly stand our ground on the accurate, true Hebrew calendar that's been spelled out. And now Steve's made a video where he's saying that the Chabad.org, the straight, this is Israel's go-to calendar. He's saying it's accurate this year and it's not off by a year. And so we're going to go through his debunk of the people that are saying
a month.
Yeah,
off by a month.
Off by a month. So we're talking about the intercalation of a 13th month to make sure that Passover takes place in Aries, so that the first new moon takes place after the equinox. And we're going to be going through all the facts regarding this. We're going to look at the evidence from Wikipedia as far as when the calendar was established that is in use today by the Chabad.orgers, like
Tiny Hatters, right? The people, the Ashkenazi, the people that call themselves who they think they are. When we are told distinctly, anyone who calls themselves that, you know that they are not, right? This is what we were told. And he promotes Zionist agendas, the Kabbalist spinning big ball earth doctrine, and his whole astrology thing, and the way that he uses gematria is absolutely putrid, right? If you think that because you can add up some numbers, right? You don't even have all the books. You only have 66 books. You want to number each word in those books, but yet there's over 360 books, right? What about those numbers? So when you really start to see what people are doing with the numbers, you start to realize that it's just witchcraft. That's all it is. Now, sure, you're born on a number, on a day, and you can look at it in different calculators, right? Gregorian. There's multiple different true Hebrew calendar, Enoch calendar. You can have all these different things. What you can see is the way the stars were, the way the sun was. You can look at that. That doesn't make you a witch, right? But when you start trying to configure things in your own head, your own vain imaginations, and overimpose them, then you become a witch, right? This is how it works. If you ask the Father to give you all the truth and reveal things to you, he will. But the problem is, if you're not willing to step outside of your own bias, which Steve clearly is not, he would not give up his belief that the earth was a spinning ball. He clung on to this theory, and basically what he ended up doing was castrating himself towards learning more new truth, right? It says in the book of Thomas that you will know us by our movement and repose. We're able to learn and then realize we need to relearn and change our position. That's the way the progression of the 6,000 years has gone. The reason why the dietary laws were given out, so people could distinguish between right from wrong. And then the Father said, you know, you can eat anything. I made all things good. Why would I make anything bad for you to eat? Right? That's ridiculous. But now you know you have to differentiate yourself from sinners. You need to be a different people in the world, loving, caring, fighting for truth, dogmatically standing up for things. These were the lessons that were taught through, oh, you can't eat shellfish, even though there's parables about the beautiful pearl, which comes from a shellfish of an oyster, which they ate, okay? And there's all these different things, but Steve's ability to rely on gematria is a witchcraft. He puts numbers together. He has things that he has no evidence of. He has signs. He has all these things that we hear all these people, but nobody goes to the straight scriptures, reads them, interprets what they say, and then lines them up with what we see in the sky. And that's that's what Jason and I have been fighting so hard for so long, just pure truth. So tonight we're going to see things that Steve proclaims and lies to you, bold-faced. We're going to show you. You guys are the jury. Jason and I, all we simply do is provide, hey, we're all out here looking for the truth. This is what we say. Here comes Steve with his sniding, smirking. You'll hear his condescending tone. He thinks he has some precious jewel or something. He's debunked something, right? When in actuality, all he does is say what the truth is in reverse. It's the oldest Ashkenazi trick in the book, right? As you're punching someone in the face, yell out, stop hitting me. There's absolutely no different than what Steve's doing. Spewing a lie while saying what we're saying isn't true. So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. I'm not going to get too mad because I'm in a chilled mood. This is like we're supposed to be relaxing right now. But Steve just doesn't ever let up. He constantly comes out with this nonsense propaganda. And if we didn't love Steve, we wouldn't be here helping him. If we didn't love everyone else, we wouldn't be fighting for the truth. We don't hate the sheeple or the NPCs. We love them. That's why we do what we do. We don't do this because we hate Steve. We don't want to mock him or ridicule. I want to see Steve in the kingdom of heaven. I want to see everybody there. But if Steve continues to promote nonsense lies and lead people off into false rapture predictions and false gematria calculators and blaspheme the truth, we are going to be there every step of the way because we want to. We want everyone to hear the truth and to see both sides of the narrative. That way when some Satanist comes along and says, look at this clown, all this nonsense they put up, and then you'll see right beside Steve, you're going to see me and Jason going, well, he was a clown, but here's what the actual truth is. And that's what my goal has always been. It has nothing to do with Steve Fletcher as a man. It has nothing to do with me as a man. It has all to do with the preservation of what is true and what I'm willing to fight for. And I'll never give that up for anybody or anything. You can strip me, you can mock me, you can censor me, you can kill me. I will always stand up and fight for the truth. And for the people that aren't able to learn the truth because they've been so mind controlled and indoctrinated, and then here comes guys like Steve Fletcher with some witchcraft spell gematria nonsense. Ooh, and then he'll throw 888 in there, which kind of does get me a little triggered. We'll find out why, which you all probably know. And then he spews a bunch of more nonsense, putting 666 behind that number. This is what the demonically possessed people do. They have vain imaginations. A truly spirited person will hear correction. You hear someone tell you, listen, Ron, I got to tell you something honestly, or Ronnie, I prefer. They're going to tell you, like, you got to put your phone down. You're fighting for truth too much on there. You need to be in, and then you're like, oh, you get conflicted, and you take a deep breath and you look at the situation and you go, that's actually some of the best advice I ever heard. You put your phone down and you say, thank you. I love you, brother, for helping me. This is what you do when you need correction in your life. Those who are willing to step up with the correction are saints in my books. Human angels. The most important thing that we could have that we've lost, really, was discipline. The fear of the Father was teaching our children that you had to have morals, that you had to respect women, that you had to respect authority, and that authority had to respect the rights of the individual. This is what the way the world used to be. But slowly but surely, the fallen angels have eroded it away. They've taken away anything that was good. And now we're left with false prophets, disinformation, misinformation, and censorship everywhere. So Jason and I, this is the end of my rant. I will not just sit by idly. I will stand up and fight for those that are fallen. I'll fight for those that are weak, and I will never stop. And Steve, you really need to repent, man, and start doing righteous things. Find the truth. Debunk us with actual facts, man, and scriptures. Don't come out here and say, well, it has to be before the equinox, because that's one of the stupidest things, which you're going to see Steve try to tie something in an absolute mental error. It really makes him look ridiculous. And I don't want to have to come out here and ridicule and mock. But again, who is going to stand up, fight for the truth? Not for another human being. This is about truth. The scriptures, we are commanded to fight for them. Commanded by Jude. You need to read the books and understand that that's what passion is. You fight for the truth.
Yeah, so the question was asked, who is this Steve Fletcher guy? And sort of said before, he was one of the original 12 Revelation 12 sign rapture date watchers. And so he's in the original group, and there's only a few people from the original group that are still active on YouTube. Now, a couple of them are promoting the same calendar as we are. So Adam, I think Parable of the Vineyard is, God's Roadmap to the End is promoting the same. And now guys like Dr. Barry Awe, he only started a year ago. He wasn't around he wasn't, a player during that time. So there's just a small group of end times Christian channels that play in the truther community that are with having looked at the true Hebrew calendar and reckoned the year by the first new moon after the equinox. So we are leading that community. We've got calendars that we've shared. You can look at the files. You can download them from yourselves. You can check it out. You can go to any site to look at when the new moons were and when the equinoxes were. And so we're putting forth a really laid straight calendar, and Steve is absolutely out there trying to shill against it. So he made a video debunking the people that are saying that Tishri 1 is in October, which is us, right? So it's like us and maybe two other channels that are standing up for this. And so this is direct attack against us. And so this is direct retaliation to Steve that your debunk is bullshit. So we're going to go through that tonight and show everybody the magic tricks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. It's sad, really. It really is. And, when somebody has an intelligence and a capability to research and create content, Jason and I specifically watch every single word, the way that they're spoken. I know a lot of people might know this about me, but I'm highly empathic. I've always been this type of character since I was born. I don't know. I just am. I can sense someone's emotion through the way that they speak. I can see the intent behind their heart. And I'm not saying that I'm any different than anyone else. We all have different things that we're in tune with. And Jason as well, super highly empathic when it comes to reading people, right? And Steve had a different character in the beginning. He really did. He had this fire and this excitement. And now it just seems like he's constantly just trying to promote himself instead of the truth. And people could argue that about me, but I generally always say that my fight is only for the Father. Nothing that I do that's good is mine. Actually, if you guys scripture mine and come up with the answer, everything that's good is a blessing, not a bemoring. Everything that we get in this reality that's good is a piece of the kingdom that the Father allows us to actually carry out here while we're amongst the demons. And one thing that a character, Trey Smith, told me once, when I started in the truth movement, there was a lot of, I guess you could say, demonic people that were coming around me. And Trey had said to me, Ronnie, he said, you don't have to worry about them. He said, this is the closest that they're ever going to get to the Father. And when he said that to me, I was like, I sat back and I was like, it's absolutely true. Right? So when anybody that comes around us, like Steve, who might be possessed with demons, right? Most likely through Kabbalah, Shabbos Goyism, all these types of things that they go under, like Pastor Sandy, anyone who promotes that they've gone to Israel and studied, you see a common demonic presence around them. And I want to start off, before we go into screen share, just saying that I pray in the name of Yahawashi over Steve Fletcher and all of his family, that all the demons or anything that might be possessing his mind and his heart, that they flee, and that any of the adversary that tries to attack him, that sevenfold be done unto them. And I pray this in the name of Yahawashi, and over all the people that Steve preaches to, teaches to, I pray a protection over them. The blood of Yahawashi was shed for the innocent people that are looking for the truth. And I do this out of absolute love. I do this out of love for Steve, because underneath the demonic influences that Steve has, there's a righteous man that does love the truth. There is. He's in there, and I'm talking to that man tonight. And I hope that we can express nothing but truth, edification, and brotherly love through the content of our hearts, not just spewing words to try to one-up. We literally take this very seriously, that we can bring the truth to the people, because that's what we were commanded to do. Jason?
Yeah. Steve's got to give up the kabbalist lies. Otherwise, we're going to continue to ride him on it. So should we go into screen share? We're going to go through his video. We're going to break down his debunks and debunk them with the truth once again. So he's going to help define what the true Hebrew calendar is by the PSYOPs that he's going to try and promote. And he's just going to make the path clearer and clearer and clearer for everyone, while exposing himself as clearly working to PSYOP everyone. So
yeah, yeah, we're going to expose it. You're ready to switch over again. So hi everybody that's tuned in. We're not looking at the numbers anymore. Okay, everything is now going to be we're going to be on the Limitless channel. If you just tuned in, Jason, we received a second strike. We got one for my birthday stream where I sang a song and we talked about music. We got one last night for our Friday night for our call-in hangout. And so Jason's now got 2 strikes. That means that he had to put all his videos on private. We're going to be here for 3 months. Hopefully maybe the strike will go away. I'm praying for that something happens. And that has happened before. So we'll see what happens. We know that everything has to happen. It's all prophesied. Everything that takes place is meant to happen. We don't have fear. We just want you guys to know that we are going to be on the Limitless channel from now on, just for a little while. Thank you guys for being here. Please be respectful in the chat. And Yahweh's daughter, I had to remind everybody, and I guess Muriel is also a moderator on this channel. And anyone puts any words other than Jabola or Cerveza-bug, delete it. Anyone talks anything with spelling correctly on certain things, it has to be deleted. They're banning videos due to content in the chat. So everybody's got to use code words. Cerveza-bug, you can call it a Jabola. Just use different words for certain things. Okay, Sandy, Hokum thing, just change your words a little bit. Everybody knows, like if we say N-I-N-E-O-N-E-O-N-E, there's multiple ways that we can do this. Okay, Jason, you are good to go. Once you unmute.
I just wanted to point out the Awake Souls channel. So I spent a good part of the day making sure that all of our content was downloaded. So I have hard backups of everything. And then I put everything on private except for 3 videos. So there are still 3 videos up. 2 of them are the true names, and the other one is the documentary, The Strange Truth Project. So I'm just leaving this here for the next 3 months, and we won't be using this except, so once 2 weeks has passed and I can do something, what I'll do is I'll put up a little trailer video that points everybody over to the Limitless channel. So I'll have a little explanation of what's taking place, point everybody, and that'll be the last video that's on there until we start using the channel again. So just make sure everybody knows that we're on the Limitless channel now.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. That was a crack.
Oh yeah, there was a huge bolt of thunder and lightning after Jason said, we're on the Limitless channel. Let me play the lion roar too at the same time. That was a cracker.
Yeah, so that's you got to get the message out to everybody. You got to let everybody know we are on the Limitless channel. And so that's the end of that update. So this is the video that Steve published. This was September 3rd. And this is him debunking an October Feast of Trumpets 2021. So this is him promoting the standard Chabad.org fake Hebrew calendar against reckoning the year correctly. So we're going to get his debunks of how Tishri is not in October. Tishri is in September. And also notice that he's got in his description down here, it says X marks the spot, Feast of Trumpets, September 6th through 7th. So that is really soon. We're on the 5th, and he's saying Feast of Trumpets is September 6th through 7th. So this is where we are warning our audience that the fake Hebrew calendar it's Tishri 1 is right here, right? It's wham. So if something goes down, this is as we have been predicting. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but here's what he has to say.
Today is September 3rd, 2021, and I have a couple more things that I need to go over with you before the Feast of Trumpets in just a few days. And in this message right now, I want to address those that are changing the calendar to October Feast of Trumpets. Okay? This message is...
That's us. We're the ones that changed it to October because of the way we reckoned it. We can cover it. We'll go through it.
Debunking the October Feast of Trumpets date. Debunking the October Feast of Trumpets date. Now, the big question here that most people have as we are coming up upon what we are talking about, the Feast of Trumpets, in just a few days, and then we have a lot of comments from people who are saying, well, what about those who are saying that the Feast of Trumpets is actually in October? Okay.
What about those people?
How can the Feast of Trumpets be before the fall equinox? Okay.
All right. You see what he just did? How can the Feast of Trumpets be before the fall equinox? All right. So if you reckon the year in the Hebrew calendar where the first new moon is after the equinox, how can Tishri 1 be before the fall equinox, right? So there's the spring equinox and the fall equinox. If we're to reckon the year with the first new moon after the equinox, then we are literally looking for the new moon after the fall equinox. That is what we are looking for. Specifically, common sense tells you that we're going from equinox to equinox. If the one that we began on is after the spring equinox, then it's going to be after the fall equinox. But he did a mind fry right there. And these are one of these satanic tricks that they do, where he made you doubt it right from the get-go when it is the absolute expectation of any common sense person. So let me
play it again. I just want to repeat. I'll repeat what you said. Steve just made it like obvious. He said that it has to be before the equinox, when you know that the equal day is the start to the year. And then 6 months later, you have another equal day, which is halfway through the year. That's the way this works. And what Steve tried to do was tell you, of course, it's before. When it's got to be, it's got to be after, Steve.
Could you hear that, Steve? All right, let me replay this.
That the Feast of Trumpets is actually in October. Okay. How can the Feast of Trumpets be before the fall equinox? Okay. How can the Feast of Trumpets be before the fall equinox? Okay.
Okay.
It can't be. It can't be. It's retarded.
Okay. Okay. How can it?
All right, I want to take you back to the tetrad of 2014 and 2015, and I want to consider the final blood moon of the tetrad, okay? The final blood moon, which was not only the final blood moon of the tetrad, it was a super moon, and it was over Jerusalem, September 28th, 2015. A super blood moon over Israel on Tabernacle, September 28th, 2015. How can the Feast of Trumpets be before the fall equinox, you say? Okay. See, I am showing you through history, and I'm showing you through all of the actual events and signs why we are watching the Feast of Trumpets on September 6th and September 7th. How can the Feast of Trumpets fall before the fall equinox? Okay.
It can't.
Look at the blood moon
It can't.
It can't. It's
of September 28th, 2015. Okay. What is interesting about this? What is special about this? Okay. Feast of Tabernacles, the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles, because it's the blood moon of the 14th day of the month, and the Tabernacles is going to begin on the 29th of September, and we have a super blood moon over Israel. Well, what day was the Feast of Trumpets in 2015? It was the 13th of September. There was a solar eclipse on the 13th of September in 2015. It was not a total solar eclipse, but there was a solar eclipse marking the Feast of Trumpets on September 13th. Okay. Now, okay. So
Okay.
here we have these people saying the Feast of Trumpets cannot begin before the fall equinox. Okay. So what do you...
he still hasn't.
We are sharing what is the accepted truth about how to actually reckon the Hebrew calendar. So it's not Ronnie and Mai's, oh, it's like this because we think so. We've shown that this is what was understood. This is how
Yeah.
it was practiced.
Yeah, we're not pretending or making it up because we saw some, YouTube video. We're looking into the Bible, the scriptures, not the Bible, the Holy and Spirit scriptures inspired. And they tell us exactly when to look. Josephus told us exactly what to look for. The sun needs to be rising in the Lamb, Aries in the sky, and after Spica in the hand, right? A Virgo, right? And it tells us specifically the equal day and night, which Enoch was measuring even all the way through. You then looked for the next new moon, then the start of the month. That's how it was. You count 14 days to Passover. Then 6 months equal, you got trumpets. It's really basic. You can't have a Feast of Trumpets before an equinox.
All right. And so what we can do is a study here. He's got these dates with these, heavenly significant signs, right? We pay attention to things like blood moons, and we pay attention to eclipses and stuff like that. And all these celestial events we want to take note of and see where they fall on the calendar. And so we can do analysis and study of like these first dates in 2014. I did it earlier, and we'll go through the process so that you can check all this yourself. I was able to look at 2014 and see that this is correct. This lines up with the actual sighting of the new moon after the equinox. So both of these dates are correct and they line up. Now, I also looked at Passover in 2015 and it didn't line up. All right, so we can take a look at how that all works. So he's going to use some faulty logic coming up that all of this is right and not. So sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not. He's the one that goes with a perpetual calendar that doesn't change. It's just set. It's been fixed since 325 AD. Like the forefathers of the Vatican, when they fixed the calendar, it's been doing the same thing since 325. And it's off a bunch. He's going to show us a bunch of years that it's off. So let's keep going.
What are we going to do with this amazing sign that took place in 2014, 2015? So now the blood moon tetrad does not exist? So this was not the date, this blood moon was not on Tabernacles?
We got to look at each year individually, right?
Because if we're going to go...
Yeah, we can do it. We got the tools. It's not hard.
Steve doesn't do that, though. He just wants to shoehorn you into his dialectic. Zionist, Ashkenazi, BS, garbage, Kabbalah, witchcraft. It's weak. It has no power over us or anyone who's after the truth. None. It's weak.
So he's going to use this blood moon tetrad to say that we have to be in, that Tishri 1 is going to be the September 6th, 7th, right? And we have to believe this. He's so adamant about it. And he's touting the calendar that's on a Metonic cycle. All right, so we actually go by the signs in the heavens, and we can show people how that works.
Go and try and change the dates of what we're watching this year, then we need to go back in throughout history and look at all the times that the signs have come on the dates of the Hebrew calendar, and we need to examine, not only just 1 year and say, this is why 2021, there's a big mistake. 2021, Israel got it wrong, okay? Look at
Israel gets it a lot wrong.
1945, I did the homework for you guys, okay? I went back and I did.
I don't believe that he made this graphic. Somebody gave this to him. I just don't see Steve making this graphic.
The homework. I actually walked this through to see, how it all plays out throughout history. And I went to the first day of Nisan every year on the Hebrew calendar back to 1945. First of Nisan. Now I have listed here every time the year begins before the spring equinox.
So he just gave you the graphic of what he says every wrong year is. Now, I'm not sure that there's not more of these. Well, we would have to do the full study, but he's at least admitting that all of these are wrong.
Okay. 1945, 1953, 1956,
wrong.
1961,
Wrong.
1964,
Wrong.
1972.
That's my birth year.
1975, 1983. You get the point, okay? Do I need to read through all of these? There's 16 times. Okay? 16 times that the year has begun before the spring equinox. Okay. Why does this happen? How can this happen in Israel? Well, come on, guys. I mean, number one, Israel does not go by a solar calendar.
No, they're wrong.
Ooh. So that's a strong claim. Also, come on, guys. Israel does not go by a solar calendar. So he's taking it to Israel goes by a lunar only calendar. That's an absurdity, because he'll even admit as we go through the video here that if you went by a lunar only calendar, that the festivals would go off radically within a few years. where you'd be having Sukkot in winters. It would change because the lunar year is shorter. If it was lunar only, you're always going to be falling behind. So you have to include solar. It is a luni-solar calendar, and that means that the solar year decides when an extra month gets added. And the way the Hebrew calendar is set up is so that when Passover takes place in the first month, that the sun is going to be rising in Aries, the lamb. And so the rule of always having the first new moon after the equinox is how you guarantee this. If you're not going to have the sun be in Aries for Passover, a 13th month is added. And that is what took place this year.
Correct.
And that's the reason why the fake Hebrew calendar is wrong. And the thing is they don't even have the expectation of always getting it right because it's a fixed calendar.
Well, right? I wanted to respond. So Michael Ray asked, have you guys investigated the research that Nick Vanderlyn, based on Jubilees, Enoch, and the Dead Sea Scrolls? Yes. If you go to our channel, Michael, just scroll through the video. No, they're gone.
No, we can't. They're
sorry.
All
yeah, we had a 3 and almost 4 hour debate with Vanderlyn, and he's been gone since. So yeah, we've completely looked at his ridiculous claims as well. He's way off in left field. He doesn't believe he has to boil his meat. He's an absolute nutcase. He needs to have an eruv so that he can carry on Sundays. Okay, don't bring Nick Vanderlyn's name up too cautiously. If you do on our channel, we will rip that to shreds. But yeah, continue on, please.
They do not follow a solar calendar. The equinox to them is not the marker. Okay? Because they're on a lunar calendar. They need to follow out the lunar cycles. And they have a system within Israel every year. Okay, their new year changes every year. The date of their year changes every year, comparative from the Hebrew to the Gregorian calendar, because a lunar cycle does not line up with a solar cycle. A lunar calendar does not line up with a solar calendar. So that's why there is a...
That's a great point, Steve. And you said that they don't use a solar calendar. So a lunar calendar would always fall behind and never reckon.
There is a difference every year. I mean, you look at the 1st of Nisan in 1945, it's 15th of March. In 1953, it's the 17th of March. In 1956, it's the 13th of March. Every year it changes. Okay? Because they are not going by a solar calendar. They go by a lunar calendar. Okay?
He's saying that they do not go by a solar, they go by a lunar. A lunar only will fall behind every year. We know that the calendar has to be reckoned. It's essential. If you're touting that it's a lunar calendar, that means that it's falling behind every year. No, it's a luni-solar calendar.
And stars. It's all okay. It's all held together, Steve. All of it, okay?
So, if anyone is saying that the Feast of Trumpets must begin after the fall equinox, then we can throw out the blood moon tetrad, and we might as well just throw out all of Israel's history, because this is all written in the books. Their history has been written down, and you can not only follow their history.
This is the history that we are going to throw out. It's all BS. This is Kabbalistic nonsense. Chabad.org bullshit. Kabbalah.
Yiddish Ashkenazi occupiers.
It's all being thrown out.
Blech.
History according to the Gregorian calendar, but they have their own system of looking up all of the dates in history, how this has all happened.
They have their own system. Let's go to Wikipedia. And this is the First Council of Nicaea. Separation of Easter computation from Jewish calendar. Right? The Feast of Easter is linked to the Jewish Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. As early as Pope Sixtus I, some Christians had set Easter to a Sunday in the lunar month of Nisan. To determine which lunar month was to be designated as Nisan, Christians relied on the Jewish community. But the latter 3rd century, some Christians began to express dissatisfaction with what they took to be the orderly state of the Jewish calendar. They argued that the contemporary Jews were identifying the wrong lunar month as the month of Nisan, choosing a month whose 14th day fell before the spring equinox. So this right here took place where they went to a fixed Metonic cycle at the Council of Nicaea. You can do all the research regarding the Hebrew calendar. Right now, it says the Jewish calendar is based on the Metonic cycle of 19 years, of which 12 are common non-leap years of 12 months, and 7 are leap years of 13 months. It says the cycle right here, years 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 17, and 19 of the Metonic cycle are leap years. So it follows this set pattern every 19 years. And this is how the Freemasons run their PSYOPs, is in these Metonic cycles. So that's what he's referring to, is they have their way of reckoning the months. Yeah. This Metonic cycle is the kabbalist Vatican shill way of doing it. They don't reckon it according to what the celestial lights are showing us.
The Father told us to do, instructed, right?
Okay. I mean, if you go back to the year 70 AD, the fall of Jerusalem was on the 4th of August, which was the 9th of Av. Okay. Now, they have their system to follow, that they have been following, that they have followed for 2,000 years, and this is the calendar of Israel, okay? Whether you like it or not,
So whether you like it or not, they've been on a fixed 19-year Metonic cycle for 2,000 years. Well, at least since 325 AD. That's how long that it's been set metonically, where they have a specific way it's reckoned. We can go to the Hebrew calendar here. It tells us the leap years, but then Rosh Hashanah postponement rules. So they have all these rules that they go by. This is all Judaic nonsense right here as to how they number of days, these days of the week. We've shown how ridiculous that is. The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, how Sabbath would never fall on the same day of the week. There's just so much nonsense in this topic. And he's the one touting the main straight Kabbalah narrative. Like he toes the line perfectly.
do you understand it or not, this is the calendar of Israel. Okay, and it's not for us to go and be changing, okay, based on our own understanding. And those that say the year cannot begin before the spring equinox, that's a bunch of baloney. Okay, it's a bunch of baloney. Because 16 times in their history, since only the year 1945, this has been the case. And this is the way their history has been written up.
That's how often it is wrong, right? It's pretty easy.
Until now.
I think there's more than this. I think he's only showing 16. Like, there's more.
And this is the way their history will continue to be written. Okay? All right? What is the day of the Feast of Trumpets in Israel this year? Okay. Just look it up on the internet. Go, what is the date of the Feast of Trumpets 2021? Nowhere are you going to find that it is in October. They do not follow a solar cycle that says the Feast of Trumpets must happen after the fall equinox.
He's right. The kabbalists and the Vatican do not follow a calendar that requires because they're on a Metonic cycle. And what they've done is they've just split the difference. So sometime half of the time it falls before and half of the time it falls after. They've just split the difference.
So, in all of Israel and all of the Jews worldwide are following the Hebrew calendar, and everybody knows that the Feast of Trumpets is September 6th through 8th of 2021. Okay? Just look it up.
Just look
When
it
is
up.
the Feast of Trumpets 2021?
I mean, is that some serious truther talk right there? When we say just look it up, we point to people when the Metonic cycle went into effect. We explain how it is a fixed calendar, how it doesn't line up with keeping the sun in Aries, the lamb during Passover. I mean, these are the rules that were given to the Hebrews to follow.
That's what we need to go by. And based on their history, we cannot go back and change their history. And if we did go back and change their history, then we would have to even go back to 2015 and say, this is not Rosh Hashanah because it's before, okay, it's before the fall equinox. How could this happen? This cannot happen. Let's go.
He just nailed it.
Mhm.
Like 14, it was correct. 15, it wasn't correct.
Back a month. This blood moon means nothing. So we no longer have a blood moon on Tabernacles, and we no longer have a tetrad. See the problem we have here? By people going back.
Steve has the problem.
What is a tetrad anyway? What does a tetrad mean to a Christian?
Here, show me it in the Bible, the scriptures, the tetrad, Steve. Show it to me.
Where does tetrad even come from? I mean,
Kabbalist shows that are trying to promote heliocentrism.
Kabbalah. Well, yeah, he does promote heliocentrism.
So I had to stand up. Sometimes I get aggravated when I hear this guy. I do. And I love Steve. I want to love him. It's the demons inside of him that aggravate me, everybody. It's not Steve himself. Oh, yeah.
So should we show people how to reckon this? Because he's saying right now.
Yes. Show people what's going on.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Stellarium, and we're going to find the equinox. So we're going to look at 2014, and we're going to see how this looks when it works correctly. So he's saying Passover was April 15th, 2014. So we're going to look at time and date. We're going to go to April. Or no, it's going to be March. Sorry. What we're looking for is the equinox. So we're scrolling through looking for a 90 270 sunrise, sunset. And here we go on the 19th. We have our 90 degrees east, 270 west. We've shown people how you can use a solar compass. No, sundial, and a compass to determine when the equinox is. So we're looking for the first new moon after the 19th of March. So let's switch over to months. I gotta go to March of 2014. We're looking after the 19th, and we're looking at luminosity. So it's getting smaller, and then looks like right around the 31st, we're going to have, or possibly the first. Let's go to the next month. Go to April. Yeah, so definitely by the first for sure.
Steve's trying to get in the chat. I don't know how he's not finding it. I'm going to continue to try because I just notified him that we were explaining to him the correct way to calculate the year.
Yeah, so you can see that the first new moon was in April. So April 14th is going to be correct. Let's take a look at this in Stellarium. Show everybody what you want to look for. we're going to go back to 2014. Oops. We're going to April 15th, I think it was. And let's go to the morning. What was it? Let me double check the date he had again. It's got April 15th. So in Stellarium, we're at April 15th. The sun is just rising right now. Let's get the constellation art up. All right, so we have Pisces is a tough one to understand because you got two fishes. All right, you got Pisces up here, you got this other fish over here, then you have Aries. Now, what we can do here is if we jump another month, now we can clearly see that the sun is rising in Taurus. That would be too late. May would be definitely too late. And so here we are at April 15th. Now, if we go a month earlier, we go to March 15th, you can clearly see that the sun is at the front part of the fish. But we can see by looking when the equinox is and looking when the first new moon is after the equinox, that Passover is April 15th for the year 2014. Well, that's how we check this. So when we look at this graphic again, let's look at Passover in 2015. So now we're looking at April 4th. Let's look at our charts again. We bump this to 2015. We're looking for the equinox. We're looking for 90-70. And that appears to be right in here at March 18th, 19th. One of these days is going to be the equinox somewhere in there. So we're looking for the first new moon after April.
So why? Wait a second. Sorry, I've got to turn my volume down. I want to explain to people. So once we have the equal day and equal night, why are we then looking for the new moon to start the month? Why don't we just start, boom, the equal day and equal night, day one?
Because it's a lunisolar calendar. The day always begins with new moon. What happens is the solar year reckons the year, and with the rule that the first day of the year is always counted as the first new moon after the equinox, it keeps the calendar in time with the seasons. Mm-hmm. But it does require the intercalation of a 13th month every so often. It averages out to, a certain amount of times in 19 years. And that's how they're able to get away with the Metonic cycle.
So the reason why it's important that you look for the new moon after the equal day and equal night is because the months go on the moon, right? The year gets started with the sun, right? And then we can use the sun's position with the stars as another reference guide, as a back check to make sure we got this right. The Father gave us multiple ways to do it, to correctly calculate the date. And when these things line up, you're following the path. And it changes every year, Steve. You're right. Every year it changes. We got to follow what the sky tells us. That's the way the Father created it. It's all about the seeking. You can't just trust what the Ashkenazi say or the people in Israel. You have to literally look at the scriptures and then look at the information and the data of the sunrises and sunsets, where it is, what time of a year it is, how do you calculate when Passover is. And as soon as you can do that, which every person that proclaims to be a so-called Christian, we were commanded to celebrate the Lord's victory meal, Yahawashi's victory meal, Steve. And you got to calculate that. You need to do what we're doing. We took this from the scriptures itself. We've got the podcasts going to be back up in 3 months. But anyways, once you see the equal day, equal night, you then go to the next new moon, and that's your first month of the year. And then 6 months later, you're going to have Feast of Trumpets, and then Feast of Tabernacles. And this happens after the equinox, because the equinox starts the year, the new moon starts the month. That's how we were commanded.
Got it. So just a reminder, for the year 2015, we're looking at the equinox at around March 18th to 19th. So now we're going to bump this out to year 2015. Let's look at March. So after 1819, looks like we have new moon on the 21st of March. All right, so if that's the case with his 4-4, see, this is going to present a problem. Let's take a look at this in Stellarium. So that new moon sighting, let me show everybody this new moon sighting. Let's go look at the 21st of March. This is after the equinox, right? So the equinox was on the 18th and 19th, but then all of a sudden we got new moon on the 21st. March 21st. Let's take a look at the sunset over here. Head west. Move through the day. Sun's coming down. Where's our moon? Where's our moon?
Is this what is the rising? What time of the month is this? Sorry, I was looking in the chat.
This should be possible new moon sighting. I don't see the moon here.
No, I don't see it.
Let's go.
Another day.
Oh, we're in 14. We need 15. Let's bring it back up. There. So here's, I'll zoom in a little bit. Here's the sun going down. And what we're always looking for as far as a new moon sighting is after having no moon, when the sun goes down and the light of the sun is receding, that you have a sliver of the moon far enough away from the sun that's above the horizon that as the light recedes, that you can all of a sudden see the light of the sliver of the moon. So there would be a chance for a sighting of a sliver right here. And that would be the first new moon of 2015, but at March 21st. So let's now look at, what would the date be if you add 14 days to that? Let's count them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's our 4-4.
Should be a full moon, right?
Should be a full moon. There's our full moon. Let's see where it rose in the morning.
Rising in the hand of Spica.
See where it is? It's in Pisces.
In Pisces. The sun.
So what do we got here?
There, it's not in Pisces. Aquarius. At 3, I don't know what month you're at now.
This is the 3rd month. Here's the 4th month. Here's the 5th month. Where did it rise?
Wow, now it's in Aries.
Now it's in Aries.
It's way off.
Yeah, so this would have been the month that you would have had to, the year that you had to intercalate the 13th month in order to get the sun in Aries here. So this is an example of one of the years that doesn't work. We saw how in 2014 it worked, but in 2015, no. So this total lunar eclipse wasn't on Passover. And if that ruins a blood moon tetrad for Steve, so be it, because where in the scriptures are we told that we're going to be looking for a blood moon tetrad? Right? We're just told how to reckon the calendar. And that's what we're doing.
Changing the calendar. Israel goes by their own calendar. And the confusion does not lie in Israel's calendar. The confusion lies in those that are trying to change the calendar, which God does not change the times and the laws. The spirit of Antichrist will change the times and the laws. Let me just say it that way. And there's people that are bringing confusion to the body of Christ.
You are, okay. Steve, you are. You're the one confusing people with nonsense, gematria, kabbalah, witchcraft, right? Don't get it twisted.
Supporting the narrative that comes straight from the fake Jews, right?
We've made the straight way path. It's perfectly leveled. We literally flattened the earth to pave the way for the truth of the pure scriptural backed calendar that is not debunked, Steve. You can't come out here and say that the equinox can happen after, a festival. No, it can't. You can't have Passover before the year starts. The year starts after the equal day, Steve. And he says we're the one causing confusion. We're trying to teach people what it says in the scriptures. That's it. We don't add any kabbalah, witchcraft nonsense.
Okay. This is a confusion issue that is being brought. God is not the author of confusion.
His name's not God either. That's a German paganic deity for Godriel.
So if there's
fallen
confusion,
angel, Steve.
Yeah, all the God and Jesus.
Gross. Jesus means
chills.
earth pig, Steve. Earth pig. Jesus. Earth pig. You're calling the Christ the pig earth pig. It's disgusting, Steve. You proclaim to be a prophet, and you don't even know the true Paleo Hebrew name of the Creator, and you're going to call him Earth Pig, and you're called Godriel, the fallen angel who tricked Eve, and you're going to try to come out here and say we're confusing people? No, Steve, you are. You're the one who are confusing people, and you're going to pay for every single lie, every single person that you damn. You are going to stand in judgment for those people, and I'm telling you because I'm commanded to tell you. You either absolve yourself from it. I wash my hands of the situation because I brought it to your attention that you're falsely leading people into a pit. We've shown you the evidence. We've shown you the scriptures, and you want to continue leading people into the pits of hell, and you are going to be the first one that's thrown in there, not me. And I warned you over and over again that you're infested with demons. I prayed for you in this podcast, and I'll continue to pray for you, but you are leading people off on the path of destruction. You really are.
Fundamental truth number 4, Steve. Fundamental truth number 4.
Out there, okay. It's not God's confusion. God is not causing the confusion. God has made everything very, very clear for us. He's given us history. He's given us time. We have the opportunity to
fake history with dinosaurs and all this kind of stuff, of which Steve is 100% for all the fake history. He just eats it up and spits it out.
Understand why Israel has their calendar, how Israel's calendar works, why they add a 13th month when needed, why they allow their calendar.
Why needed, Steve, if it's a lunar calendar, not a solar calendar? Why is it needed, Steve?
Calendar to begin before the spring equinox, which happens periodically, because it has to line up over time with the time frame of the spring feast being in that general vicinity of March and April.
General vicinity.
Listen to this absolute dribble.
Because it has to stay in line in the general vicinity. Does anybody see how bad that sounds? For the general vicinity, it has to stay in line. Well, how do you do that? By reckoning the year, by adding a 13th month, an intercalary month.
Depending on the sun's rising position after the equinox.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because if they never went back and added a 13th month, then you'd end up having Passover back in October. And, if you just let the calendar run,
Funny,
there's
Tim.
a 5-day difference every year on the Hebrew calendar.
That's a lie too. It's 10 or 11. Might be 11. It's not 5.
To the solar calendar. Their calendar is 360 days. The solar calendar is 365 days. So if they just let it run every year.
No, it's not 360 days. This is more lies. How many days is a lunar year? 354. That's 10 days different. 11 days difference to 365. 11-day difference. So anybody can look this up and see that Steve is just peddling nonsense. When I knew it wasn't 5 days and I wasn't sure, look it up. All right, it's easy enough. Now you can see that Steve's just throwing out BS, lies.
Okay. Then there's going to be a huge discrepancy in that. They have it all worked out within their own system the way they do it. Now,
19-year Metonic cycle. You can read all about it on Wikipedia. It's all spelled out and how all the rules that they have. There's a cycle. They don't deviate from it.
if we go to the Hebrew calendar, okay, you go to the Hebrew calendar and you want to know, I want to know the date on the Hebrew calendar, because that's what matters. That's what matters. Okay, I went in and I looked up what is the day of the Feast of Trumpets in 2021 in Israel. Rosh Hashanah in Israel, September 6th through 8th. That's it. Okay, there is no other worrying about the equinoxes. Israel doesn't worry about the equinoxes because
Israel doesn't agree about the equinoxes. That's because the people that are in control of it right now, Steve, the people that you support,
they have a lunar calendar.
and solar too, because they do intercalate. They just do it on a metonic cycle.
Okay, and this is a very important issue, and that's why I'm overly.
That's why we're talking about it.
Stressing my point here. Okay, and there's a lot of confusion going on right now, and this confusion is not of God.
No, it's not.
And people need to be understanding, if God is going to move on the Feast of Trumpets, let's say, okay, God is going to move on the Feast of Trumpets, right? But everybody's got in their mind October. Okay, so nobody's preparing now. Nobody's got their heart set or mind set on the day that's coming up, and February.
No, we do have our mind set on it as the expected day for the kabbalists to run their PSYOP. That is the expected day.
6th, 7th, and 8th comes, Feast of Trumpets. You're in a world of trouble if you're looking at October when you should be looking at September. I mean, these are God's appointed times.
Gods.
I don't know who people think they are to say they can go messing with God's appointed times. This is a huge issue. The calendar of Israel. I mean, you go back to 1945 and you have everything written in stone. Where these dates fall, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that 16 years.
I think you're muted.
I'm responding to Steve. I recorded my channel showing him that he's not blocked because he's calling us wussies in the comments here. And I told him, I said, it's about the truth, man. We do this because we love our brothers and sisters, and we know that we're going to be held accountable if we don't stand up for the truth. You know, and the chat's been open the whole hangout. He could join us. He could come on and literally like a man up and come on and join us and have the word to word, mouth to mouth, because people want to know what the truth is, Steve. You can't come around here and just tell nothing but lies and not expect for someone to say, hey, no, don't follow that guy into the pit. That's what we're saying. Not only that, Steve, we have our handout for you. Here, grab a hold. Let us show you what we found. Okay? That we've dedicated our lives to this. This is our passion project. This isn't something we're doing to become famous. We do this for the truth.
Yeah, so we can slow this down a hair. And why don't you come join us, Steve? We'll go through this all together, and we'll make sure that we don't move on to the next point until we're settled on the current point at hand. Join us, Steve. You're not blocked. You can get yourself into the chat. We'll give you the link to the hangout. We'll have you on.
That's the best way to settle this. If he wants to come on and tell us that you can have the festivals before the equinoxes, and he wants to show us the scriptures that state that his tetrad is something to be, worshipped, and the gematria codes. We haven't even got into my little thing that I wanted to show people. When do we do that?
Yeah, well, that's when...
Is this done? What else are we going to go through here?
That'd be a great thing to go through with Steve live. Let's give him a little bit of time to see.
Yeah, we could do it live. Yeah, that would be great.
To see if he shows up in the chat. So we'll finish this video out, but show up in the chat here so we can get you the link, Steve, and you can join us.
I'll tell you guys, I'm a sweet guy. I don't like confrontation. I don't like anger. I don't like violence. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't. But what I do realize is that all the innocent people out here, right? They're sheep to me. They're my sheep, right? They don't know it. They are. I want to protect them. And when I see someone like Steve come around, whether he says he's this or that, I still see him pecking away, trying to take sheep. And what he's doing with them is leading them off to an empty, bottomless pit. He's doing it because we've done the research. We've read the scriptures. We've seen exactly what it is. And just because it doesn't line up with what Steve thinks, throw out all of history. Yes, Steve, most of history, they've lied about it. That's what they've done. They've tried to change the times and the seasons and the laws. That's exactly what they've done. Enoch prophesied about you, Steve. He said that you would take the stars to become like gods and completely err in all your assumptions as to what they are. And we're standing here telling you we've done the work. We've sacrificed and done what it took, Steve, to show you this stuff. And you mock, you call us wussies. You have us blocked. I commented on a few of your videos and they did not show up into the public square. You blocked me because you don't have enough honor and who you are and the conviction and the things that you say to even join us and speak up and hold your ground. Show us your evidence that this is not the way that the calendar is to be reckoned.
He's been blocking me on his channel ever since he came out against Flat Earth, and we started coming after him for it. So
this isn't about.
He's had me blocked.
It's not for me. It's not about Steve. Like when I first met Steve, I thought, man, I'm going to see this guy in the kingdom screaming the scriptures out. No, I've seen him slowly progress into this narcissistic, egotistical thing. Him and Roddy, they were going at it, doing all this BS. He called out Barry, all this stuff. And I haven't seen anyone put down their bias, not following being Shabbos Goy, following the Ashkenazi. I haven't seen anybody put it down. God in a minute actually put down the nonsense and stepped up and said, this is the true calendar. God's roadmap to the end also did, but pulled it back. Beria also did and pulled it back. Now we've got Steve, who seems to be the only one who proclaims to be a prophet, yet touts evolutionary heliocentrism, where the earth is spinning and twirling and moving in 4 directions. And the scripture says redundantly that the earth is fixed, immovable. Right there, I completely cut Steve's ability to call himself a prophet right off at the knees. Now, any other sheep that follow him off into destruction, I cry out for. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. We don't want to do this. This is Labor Day weekend. We could be sitting by a pool with Mai Tais under palm trees right now. Okay? I could be off trying to lead somebody, help somebody else, build something. No, we're here. We do it because we care about the truth. And we care about you, Steve. We want everybody to join us with the truth. If we were wrong, somebody would come. All these people think that they're going to see beings float down from the sky. They have all these super bad doctrines involved with the rapture idea. They have been misled and completely sold transliteration nonsense. Christianity is being ripped through the water because of people like Steve. We're getting constantly outbattled because people put up false arguments where they tie things to Ashkenazi. It makes me so mad because all you need to do is put your own bias aside and actually look at what the scriptures say and then reckon it out yourself. This is something that a child could do. Someone at 12 years old could easily grasp the things that we're sharing. Yet you have these supposed prophets who tout absolute nonsense and dribble. I've been arguing that Steve was not a mind-controlled, demonically possessed, New World Order agent. I've been fighting for Steve ever since I met him. On the other hand, we've continued to see the progression of his content get worse and worse and more off into, gematria land, where they start adding up numbers and dates, and he had to add one day, and then all of a sudden he was at 888 days from my sign. All of this stuff is just absolutely, completely against what we do. We're here to batten down the hatches, show people the truth, make the way clear, straight, and simple. Right? YHWH, Steve. That's the Paleo-Hebrew name. You didn't have to add the A because it was always there. Yahawah. That's the Father's name. You don't promote it. You don't speak it. You use the word God, which is a pagan name for a pagan deity, Odin, who comes from Gadriel, who's a fallen angel, Steve. And if you had more books than your 66, because we have like over 360 that we bring to the table, we can completely show you where all your doctrine and everything that you think is true is wrong, including your gematria, because you don't have all the books with the correct count. You have made up a man's tradition of a Talmudic way and a practice, and you guys use the gematria like a card trick. It's witchcraft, right? We bring
kabbalist. It's kabbalism.
We bring you straight truth, straight scriptural evidence, and signs that happen in the sky. That's it, right? Whether it be a number or a birthday or anything like that, we always go back to what the scriptures say. And he's not going to join us.
So he's giving the, the straight Chabad.org type answer. And it says in 2021, Rosh Hashanah will begin on sundown on September 6th and end on sundown on September 8th. So this is the time period that we're looking for a PSYOP, everyone. Now, Steve's freaking out that there's a group of people that understand that this is not going to be the beginning of the Great Tribulation, that it's just a PSYOP. So here we are to spoil the day once again.
Years of their calendar started before the spring equinox. Okay? That's the way it is. That's the history that's been written. And now we're going to say that we can just go back and change. Because if you're going to change 2021, go back and rewrite the book. You're going to change 2021? Go back and rewrite the book. The whole history of Israel. Rewrite it all. Based on your own understanding.
Palestine.
Okay? And then see who's going to buy your book. Nobody's going to buy your book.
Not selling any books, Freemason.
Because there's no continuity to what you're saying.
No, there's no continuity in your words.
To what you're saying.
You're weak.
Okay, this is a very serious issue.
Goy.
And this is why.
The serious issue is that he is promoting a Metonic cycle that is fixed. Goes all the way back to the Council of Nicaea 325, when the forefathers of the Vatican won with a fixed calendar. Right, they went away from following the true Hebrew calendar at that point.
What really gets me is that why is it that I'm the serious one here? I like to catch butterflies and take pictures of flowers. Like, why is it that I'm the one that has to be angry? Steve should be more serious about this than me. He's the one who calls himself a prophet. It baffles me, Jason. Does it not baffle you? Why is it that we're the only ones who are serious? This is a joke to him. He's laughing. This is absolutely some of the most serious thing. Like, we are in a reality where we're told how to reckon the time, the calendar, so that we can try to be as accurate as we can to show that we love our Father in heaven who created us. And we do this in our own will. Right? Not because a book told us. We do it because we want to. And then here come you making a mockery of it, telling us that we're wrong. You got to change everything. Yes, we're willing to change everything if so be the spirit of the will of the Father who created us tells us to. We will move everything over to that point, and we will stand on it gladly.
Just follow truth. That's all we got to do.
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
People just like this guy, I guarantee you. You know what? I'm willing to say 2,000 years ago, Yahawashi would have stood in front of this man and told him everything that he was saying that was wrong, and he would have done it perfectly, and Steve would have said, "You're crazy," and walked away.
Rosh Hashanah in Israel, September 6th through 8th, 2021. And the blood moon of September 28th, 2015 confirms it. Rosh
From
Hashanah.
what?
Confirms it. So the tetrad, this tetrad, which is
We trying to form a menorah? Is that what this is? Show me in the scriptures where it says we need to have a tetrad for the end times. Show me. Show me where does it say?
tetrad.
What is any of this scriptural at all?
gotta have a tetrad. In Steve's book, who made up this tetrad thing?
Kabbalists.
Dana was on September 13th, 2015. Okay? So that is why Feast of Trumpets can be, and many times is, before the fall equinox.
It can't.
He didn't explain it once. He didn't even explain how to start the year, ever, in the video. Not once did Steve explain it.
He
He
said
didn't.
because of the blood moon tetrad, it has to be.
But he
That was
did-
his proof.
But he didn't explain how to reckon the year at all. He didn't even mention it. It's ridiculous what he put forth as evidence here. Did you see any scripture?
No. Or like scientific type proof, like showing people how you actually check this for yourself.
Okay? I've given you the history of Nissan 1 since 1945.
These are
You
all
want to
wrong.
go back
All
and
wrong.
look at Tishri 1 since 1945? You can do that.
All
You know-
wrong.
Okay? Get your own understanding.
all
Search the scriptures. Search history. Search the knowledge of how Israel's calendar works.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 19-year Metonic cycle since 325. Okay. Okay.
It's wrong.
Because it's not a Gregorian calendar.
It's not.
This is the Hebrew calendar. This is God's time clock.
That's
This is
Ashkenazi.
how we can understand the signs and the times, the appointed times of God. Okay.
No, we
Adriel. Look at how
Gadriel.
gross that sounded.
God. No, we follow Yahweh, the creator of this world.
Okay.
So this is what I wanted to share with you. God is not the author of confusion.
Oh, you
All
are.
right. He is.
Oh, and Gadriel is. Absolutely. Gadriel is the author of confusion. He was the one who confused Eve. You stupid son of a...
He flips everything. That's how they do it. They flip it all.
Makes me want to get mad, but I'm not mad. So I guess my turn now.
Yeah. You want the screen share?
Sure. You know, and again, I just think this is actually super hilarious. So Dr. Bariah shared a scripture, and he had the word bam on it, and he was talking about how people were going to be like dung, right? But at the top of the page, it said, unfortunately, Jesus Christ, which is the wrong name, right? Christ, Yahawashi, is a better way to say it. It had 888. It was bam on there. We used it in a video. It was pretty funny. But this is going to be interesting. Let me get ready. I'm sure Jason can see. So now I'm going to transition over, and I want to show you guys. So I'm able to use 888 and the lion. I just am. So there's a few reasons why I use this. I'm not trying to be egotistical or anything else. It just happens to be my numbers. So what I noticed was Steve, where is it now? Let me check one more thing. I got to pull it back up. Steve has all this stuff on his Facebook about 888. This is crazy. And I think he had a video up where I commented, and the video was taken down, right? It's gone now. I couldn't find it. He was trying to say that from his sign in 2012 plus a day, he had like 888. And then he went and said, "Oh, guess what? My name, Steve Fletcher, supposedly in the English gematria means 888." And then he goes on to say that makes him like, he's saying that he's a prophet because of a gematria calendar, which I've already told you guys you can use like a card trick, right? Is everybody with me? So let's go. Let me get this centered correctly. I just find it hilarious that I'm even able to show people this. It's so funny. So here we go. We're on Steve's Facebook. He's got Donald Trump 888 in Philadelphia on day 88,888, and we got down here from gate to gate in 1,335 days. We got Dark Knight Rises, 888 on 88888. He loves throwing this down. Associating Trump with 88s, because people have tried to do that. They try to associate to the character H, which is, again, my last name is Harris. So I got the H in there too, which is really weird. So we keep coming down. We keep getting 8 times 1. We get 8 is Trump, and then 88, which a lot of people know in the Aryanism. Not Aryanism, that's the wrong term. They co-opted that too. The skinhead stuff, they all rep the 88s. Heil, whatever the name is. I'm not going to say the full thing. That's where it comes from, the 88. You can code it out like that. But then we got, again, Donald Trump, 888, 888. About 88 reasons Jesus was supposed to come back in 1988, 88. He's got all this stuff, 888. So he sees some sort of a connection going on with all the 8s, which is interesting. He's got, the 88th, and then we got more and more, and then Beloved Song of Solomon, author dead at 88, 8 times 11. He's got more 88s. More 88s. Where's the one where he then goes on to share some sort of a page that he's created? Where is it? Oh, I forgot. What am I doing? So everybody, you need to know, to search anything, you have to have the proper keywords. You see how I didn't have the third 8 there? Oh, you guys didn't see that. I only had 2 8s in the search bar. Now I've added the 3. So now we've got the triple 8s, 8 months, 8 days, 8 years. He's got a lot of this 888. A storm is coming back in 2020. 888, Purim, right? All calculated off the false Gregorian calendar again. Donald J. Trump, 888, 888. Continuing with all this stuff. Then he got a receipt that had 8888 on it. Got that lots too. Oh yeah, this makes him a prophet, right? He's proving it. Here's his proof that he's a prophet. He's got the 888 on his receipt, everybody. Continuing down. Oh, Steve Fletcher equals 888. Now he's got Stephen David Fletcher. So now he's from the line of David, right? He's got the 888. Honolulu. He's got all this stuff, all this gematria stuff. Keep going. Donald Trump, 888. Obama's certificate. So now we've got 888 tied in with Obama. Right? I don't know why he's got these types of references coming. And then Trump, 888, 888, Obama, 888. I'd like to understand where Steve was, trying to get this type of knowledge, where he thought that this was, what was he trying to find with the 8s? So he blocked me when I brought it up on his channel, on his video. And hopefully he's listening right now, because then he can sort of tell me what it was that he blocked me for, and why he likes the 8s. So I guess I could show you the more. I won't show you guys. I'll show you guys mine, what it is to me. So I'll go to my Facebook page here. So my birthday is August 8th, 1980. So when you drop the 0, you got 8880. That's my birthday. That's it. So, and I was born in the sign of lion. Okay. And when you do the gematria on my name, look at that, Steve. It equals 888 too. So I just want to know why, if Steve thinks there's something special with the 888, he wanted to say that Obama was 888. Trump is 888, right? And then he's trying to take, I'm 888. Well, I find that awfully odd, being in a simulation video game / realm, that you're touting that all this special stuff is around 888s. And it just so happens that my birthday is 888, right? August 8th, 1980. So I just find that really interesting, Steve. I could go further in depth with how you proclaim to be.
And your gematria is 888 as well, right?
Yeah, my name, Ronnie.
That's Steve's stuff. That's his stuff.
Yeah, I got that too. Oh, look at that. My name actually equals 888, Steve. Can you believe that? But also, not only that, but I'm actually born on the 888. So I would like to know why Steve thinks he wants to, take my birthday, right? My number, my hockey number, what I love to see. It's also the sign of infinity, limitlessness. Why does he think that he can attribute it to scumbags like Donald Trump and absolute gross, disgusting faggots? Like,
yeah, it's like he's trying to co-opt it.
I gotta calm down. I'm sorry, you guys. I shouldn't swear or call people those names. Forgive me. I'm sorry. It just makes me mad, because you take something that's beautiful and then you try to turn it into mud. You try to co-opt it and then try to overimpose it over scumbags, people that do disgusting things, right? We know what's going on. Everything that everyone thought was going to remain hidden, Steve, will be brought to the light, right? And that's why I try to correct my mistakes. I'm passionate. I don't like to ever hurt anyone, but I will do what the Father's will is for me to do. So if you're going to use the 888s, I'd like you to do some real research into what it actually means, and you can find the significance about what the calendar is supposed to be. He's never going to join us. What do you want to talk about before we end this?
Let's see. Let everybody know that we go live on the Limitless Channel now. This is our new home for the next 3 months, unless all of a sudden supernatural powers are given, and then we'll be live everywhere. So,
wait a minute, is Steve trying to say that I'm the Antichrist? Is that what he's going to say because of the 8s? Right? Because that's what I see the narrative he's painting, you guys. That's why I get so fired up. Because if Obama and Trump are the 888, and then, oh, wait, here comes Ronnie, and oh, it's my birthday and my gematria number, what am I supposed to say? Is he trying to say that? Is he trying to stop me from, fulfilling the Father's word by being a righteous weapon for him? Is that what Steve's trying to do? I don't know.
It looks like he's trying to co-opt the 8s.
Sorry.
Gross.
And I don't want to look egotistical or narcissistic. It's just this guy brought this into the whole entire thing here, right? After 2017, after he met us, he brought all this in, tying it to gross characters. Trump has to be one of the most disgusting people. He owned a tranny pageant, right? People, you guys don't know if... And anyone that touts that we live in a heliocentric reality that promotes that the earth is spinning and flying through space, it's not someone who believes in the word of the Father. They're deniers of the truth. I'm sorry, guys. It really is. And I get passionate. I start calling out things. Sodom and Gomorrah, right? It was better if someone like Steve had been in Sodom and Gomorrah, because now we know we have the righteous hearts to discern things. They didn't even have that. They didn't even have the books to read. But now we do. So we're held in that much higher of a standard. That's the thing that really breaks my heart, you guys, is that at the end of the day, I know we're all going to stand up for everything we've done wrong. I'm going to pay for all my things, which I do. I repent all the time, and I want to be corrected. Jason corrects me all the time, and sometimes I need the correction. I thank him, and I wish Steve would do the same thing. Just like God in a minute, he's now sharing the correct calendar. He was willing to take correction because he couldn't debunk us. Same with God's roadmap to the end. Even though they sort of pull it back, right, Jason? Like in Burial, right? Even though, what does he say? The 7 days of awe?
7 days of awe. Yeah, they all promote some sort of disinformation. Even if they're standing with the truth, there's something that they have to get wrong. So
I don't like to get mad. I don't want to condemn people ever. Even the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. I wish they could have repented and done righteous things and seeked after the truth. That's our goal here. Has never been to run around pointing our finger at people saying we're better, because that's not it. We don't care about. It's not about Jason and Ronnie. It's about the truth. That's it, and that's who we fight for. We don't fight for us. I don't care. I don't want to be paid anything. I don't need the views. I just want to speak the truth and have righteous people stand beside me and fight for them. That's it. Jay, what's your goal?
That's it. Just continue on. Fight for the truth each and every day, the best of my ability. Overcome all obstacles. Just try to be better all the time. That's all we can do. I feel like it's been a great hangout, and we debunked the debunk of the true Hebrew calendar. So now we got to watch September 6th through 8th to see whether or not the kabbalists still use this time period to run a PSYOP, which, looks like they're running out of time. So we'll see whether or not they take their opportunity or not. Because we know when the true Tishri one is. So
yeah,
October.
I don't know if we could go over it any more exhaustively. I still can't believe that he tried to tie the 888 to Trump and Obama and the Antichrist, man. Wow. Of all the things for Steve Fletcher 222 to do, to take the 888 and tie it to the Antichrist. Come on, man. Do I bite in him? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You know the thing. You can't do that. You can't can't mess with the Lion of the tribe of Judah, Steve. You're going to get burnt. I just don't understand what goes through these people's minds. You know what it is? You know, it's demonic possession. What we feed our minds, what we hold in our minds, manifests into reality. And if you're following Kabbalah witchcraft and you're doing gematria and you're making all these crazy Bible code connections using only 66 books that was created by the Council of Nicaea, if you're following these Jesuit calendars, if you're following all their staged psyops, you're so far from the truth. You don't even have the slightest understanding of what the truth is, people. We're now in the end days, right? Rejoice for anyone on the other side of the screen that is purely following the truth. Rejoice and be glad. And every time you see Jason and I get censored, rejoice, because we're censored for the truth. We're not censored because we're following some Zionist kabbalah.org. We're out here refuting it, destroying it, and we will be taken down every single time, and we will never stop getting up. We do this for the Father till the last breath that Jason and I have in this reality, whether it be our heads getting cut off. We will constantly fight back against any demonically possessed people. We will cast them out. We will pray. We will always be here to stand on the truth, and we will never, ever, ever waver that. We both only serve the truth. That's it. We don't want any money. We don't ask for any money. We don't care about views. We want to reach as many people as possible as the truth. But it looks like the small group that gets in makes it precious, because when you have anyone who's following the path of the society, you guys are off to the path on destruction. Very few and far that find it, for it's a narrow path, but it is the path of truth. And you have to be willing to relearn things, because we've all been mind controlled since birth. The fallen angels have run ruckshaw since like 1859. They've just set up psyop after psyop after psyop after psyop. And now we're here. Everything's being brought to the light. 2012 happened. There was some kind of a awakening taking place. The spirit started to move on people, and they started learning the truth. And here we are now in 2021. We found the correct way to reckon the calendar. We do it through the scriptures. We back it up, and we're going to continue to do that. And there's guys like Steve that come out and try to laugh and try to tell you disinformation, misinformation, demonically led stuff. And they don't even care. They're not even man enough to come on and talk to us man to man. We know Jason and I are not ignorant, rude people. We give everybody the opportunity to speak and have their voice heard. We don't want to single anyone out in a disrespectful way, but we are passionate about the truth. We are willing to give our lives for the truth. We're ready to right now, at any moment. Then you have people come along that proclaim to be prophets. Proclaim. Now, we don't have other people coming to us saying, have you seen Steve? Steve is, the returned Elijah. Even though Steve probably believes the two witnesses are two different people, they're two rockets, comets. Steve proclaims Comet Ison was Elijah or something like that. This is what you get from nonsensical. Enoch told us perfectly that they would be vain and they would follow their own imaginations and they would err in all their judgments of what they saw in the sky. But he did say that there would be a group that would be righteous and they would be changed and they would be made pure because they love the Father and the Father loves them. And that's what we're seeing right now. And I thank everyone on the other side of the chat. I'm sorry that I lost my temper a few times. I don't like to do that, but I'm very passionate, especially when someone's trying to tie my birthday to the Antichrist. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Red flag, red flag. I was brought here to testify and witness to the truth of Yahweh, right? Don't ever put my birthday, the day I was brought forth, ever put that again in your mouth with the Antichrist, or you will pay. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so the plan is to be live again this Wednesday, unless we have some major Kabbalistic psyop that we get to cover, because they think Tishri 1 is September 6th through 8th. So thank you all for joining. Please spread the word that we are going to be live on the Limitless Channel for the next 3 months, and we'll see you all soon. Go Team Yahawashi. Thank you all.
Only on the Yahawashi News Network.
night. Helicopters against the moonlight, our holy mother of the midnight.